Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Ben Coffey, the WeatherTRAK training manager, and with me I have Bob Beers, our product manager. Bob, you want to say hi?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining our call this morning so we can kind of review some new recent enhancements that we've made to the WeatherTRAK product line. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bob Beers. I'm a senior product manager for HydroPoint. I've been with the company for about 8 years, and then I help oversee the product management efforts for Baseline and for WeatherTRAK. And so for this release, we have multiple enhancements across multiple product lines, and Ben and I are going to take about 30 or 45 minutes to walk you through what we released and kind of discuss what we're excited about and where everything lives and what we did.
Sounds great. So what we want to do is talk about these 4 big updates specifically. Bob is going to power through some PowerPoint details about each and every release, and then I am going to dive in and do a demo of these new features and show you what they look like on WeatherTRAK Central. Sound right, Bob?
No, that sounds perfect. And just a couple quick housekeeping items. There's a chat function in the webinar, and so if you have any questions that come up, any ideas or thoughts or points of feedback you'd like to share, please use the chat. I'll be keeping an eye on that as Ben drives the presentation. And so we'll address any questions in the chat, so feel free to reach out to us. And would love to hear, any feedback, any insights, any questions. Love to see this, be as interactive as we can. So it's not just me and Ben talking at you. So feel free to reach out using the chat function.
Awesome. Any other housekeeping before we get started, Bob?
I don't think so. At the end, as always, feel free to reach out to Ben or I, and then with any questions directly, love to talk to you guys. So other than that, no, I think we're ready. Let's roll.
Yeah, and again, I'll just reinforce what Bob said. So we're going to go through the content, and then we're going to take all of the questions that come into the chat box through our discussion. So if you can, as you're watching, type into the chat. We would love to hear what you think. All right, so let's jump into our 4 big updates. Bob, you want to just jump on to number 1?
Yeah. Sorry, I have a poll question up, so I'm just looking at the poll question.
Oh, yeah, I see that too.
Yeah, so what product update are you most excited about? So let us know what you're seeing, as we kind of go through this. And then, there we go. So first one, Ben, for the next slide, we can kind of go to that. So with the WeatherTRAK Central redesign project, this is something that will be iterative. So we're starting with an initial release for one page, and it's our home page. So if you've logged in recently, I'm sure you've seen it and have noticed it. Ultimately, the effort that we have with kind of modernizing and updating WeatherTRAK Central is, one, we want kind of a nice parallel experience between the desktop version and the mobile app version. And so what we did was, fairly extensive A/B testing with things like our color palette, our iconography, what colors did we use and why, and then implement that for mobile. And now we're implementing it for the desktop version as well in WeatherTRAK Central. So the colors you're seeing, the tools that you're seeing, wanting to create a nice parallel experience. And then another effort is implementing more modern visual layers and ways to visualize the data. And so technology that really wasn't available to us back in, say, 2015 or 16, that's available now, implementing that so we can modernize the look and the feel, implement new visualizations and new ways to contextualize your management portfolio, and then provide just an overall better experience. And so 2 main things that we updated, site navigation, so what we call the header bar up top, where you can use to navigate to different parts of WeatherTRAK Central, has been updated. That's consistent throughout every page that you go to. And then the home page is kind of our initial effort for a reskin, a new look and feel, some new features. And then ultimately what we're working toward is to provide a way to save you time as you manage your portfolio. I think one of the great strengths that WeatherTRAK has is the ability to manage a large number of controllers and do it in a way that isn't extremely time consuming, So we want it to be simple, we want it to be efficient, and we want a great user experience. And now we want to deliver to you a homepage that hopefully looks better, it's easier to use, and helps you navigate throughout the site to help save you time and just make a more efficient experience.
Perfect.
Another great update. This one's long requested. I've had many people talk about this. For those of you who don't know, historically, the LC controller platform, the LC Plus, kind of has two different flavors. There's the 6 to 18 station version and one that supports up to 36 stations. The 36 station controller historically supported 4 programs, where the 6 to 18 station would only do 2 programs. And pretty consistent feedback that that's just not sufficient. You know, even if you only have 3 stations, you could have 3 distinct hydro zones, and you really need to manage it more effectively, and you need more programming power and more capability for that. So we just standardized the LC platform, so no matter what station count you need or require for that site, it'll support 4 programs. So not revolutionary, but hopefully, you know, a great add-on. You know, think if you have any customers or if you yourself are using the LC, everything will now support 4 programs regardless of station count.
And what I would say about this, just to add, is we heard this from a lot of different user groups. So this will be a welcome upgrade to the eyes of the folks that we talked about at different distributor events or contractor events or designer events. This is something that we heard from you needed to be upgraded. So I'm happy to announce that we have it.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. You know, from design specification, distribution, installation, activation, installation process, and then ongoing management for our water managers and LMCs.
Absolutely.
Another great update to OptiFlow is the ability to program operational delays. So it could be a delay at the POC, so pump or master valve. So before we open the first station, let's charge the main line, and now you can specify from the configure page how long of a delay you might want, so we can have a fully charged main line before we start the first station system operation to help ensure we have, you know, optimal distribution uniformity and hydraulic performance. In addition to that, we also have in between station delay. So if you have a slow closing valve, you know, if you've got a system with say 30 stations and you know station 20 is always going to be slow and it's going to cause potential alerts or hydraulic issues for the remaining stations before they run, you can now create a delay to give that station sufficient time to close before we open up and start the next station operation.
And for me, this is something we hear from just a handful of users using those OptiFlow systems that have POCs that need to be managed at a very high level. So this is something that is just an add to the version 8 or OptiFlow software, and not something that most Pro 3 or LC users will see.
Yeah, OptiFlow only. So that's a great point, Ben. So any of the OptiFlow users will see that change. And it's all on the configure page. So it's nothing you need to do at the controller level or in the panel. It's all on WeatherTRAK Central.
And this is kind of a deep, dark feature. You have to drill down quite a ways to find it. Not like the home page, but I'll show you what that looks like on the demo. All right, so let's go to the last one.
Yeah, this one was pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. We updated our database technology, and the new technology we're using won't recognize blank space as a character. So we had a handful of customers who either had a blank space before their username or after or in between. And so we had to remove those. If it was before or after, we simply removed the blank character. If it was within a username, we replaced the blank space with an underscore. And so this was implemented last Tuesday. Also, if you had a blank space in your password, you'll be prompted to update your password, so it no longer includes the blank space. So that was effective as of August 28 and is in effect today.
And any of our user base that was affected, we proactively searched out and notified, but this is kind of the loud broadcast that this happened. And if you had to change your password as a result, that might have been why. Awesome, Bob. That is our 4 big updates that we want to talk about today on the demo. Let's jump to a central demo and show off what this actually looks like. So I'm going to close this guy up and jump over to, oh, sorry. This meeting just got in my way. Got to get my big face out of the way. And we're going to start here at the sign in page because this is where our first update happens, right? Or the last update, I should say. The last thing Bob talked about is this username and password that is your account access for both WeatherTRAK Central and WeatherTRAK Mobile. So if you had a space in there, next time you log in, you might need to reset your password.
Yeah, and we got one question, Ben, that I'd like to just bring up. So we'll be able to now assign certain stations to multiple programs. So this update didn't touch anything there. So that's still not a function that we would support today.
Okay.
But great question. And we're working towards something to resolve that, just FYI. We're very excited about.
First ask, for sure. We will definitely have something coming up here for you. Let's log in and look at the update, because I think this is a much more welcoming user experience. As somebody who uses WeatherTRAK Central every day, I can say that a little update, a little new makeup makes it look a lot nicer. You'll notice right away that, oh, I closed the banner. The way that we're keeping in touch with our customers about new releases is a more proactive approach on the banners and the notifications. What used to live in what's new now will be banners. So we'll keep in touch that way. And that opened up this whole free prime real estate that is the first thing you see on our alerts and operations dashboard. So we got rid of what's new that used to live here and added this cool account map that gives you a high level account level map of all of the different sites that you manage. And so what we see here, I'm in Denver, obviously, so I added my house and a nearby school district that allowed me to access their account. And you can see how they have different schools and different sites, and you can see all of the different sites that you manage across however diverse geography that you're managing. Bob, anything about that?
Yeah, really our aim here and our goal here was just to help orient our users, particularly users who have a large portfolio that they're overseeing, and quickly orient them to the context of what's happening across all of their sites. So here's a view where you can see a color-coded status of all of your sites. So the icons we're using are the same icons you'll see in Sitemap, you'll see in the mobile app. So it's the same iconography, and then they're color-coded based off of whether or not they have a major or critical alert, in which case they'd be red. Any critical alerts will have an exclamation point. And then if there are no critical or major alerts, you'll see the site as green. And so when you're thinking about a workflow, you're thinking about where you're going to spend your time for that day or the morning or that week, just a quick glance at your map can help orient you to any major alerts or what's happening, and then geographically where those sites are located. And then Ben, if you click on one, we'll also provide you with additional context for what controllers are. Yeah, what controllers are at the site, what this controller mode is, what state it's in, any alerts, the alert category, and then additionally, ways to navigate through WeatherTRAK Central directly from this menu pop-up. So you want to talk about that, Ben?
Yeah, so this is really cool. To me, this is the heart of the efficiency upgrade that we're talking about. This gives us a dashboard mentality where we kind of zoom in on the site based on the map, and then we have to cross over to all of the site level information that we have put in WeatherTRAK about this site already. So these quick links at the top of this box take you to the essential pages of WeatherTRAK Central that might help you in whatever workflow you're working on, right? So this one right here takes you to the manage page. So if you want a quick update about what the controller out there is doing, it will go to the first controller on site in that case, where it's one controller. But here on the controllers list, we'll see all of the controllers on that site. So that's a nice view. You can see a quick controller status or ET information about all your different controllers, and manual. The little water droplet takes you to a manual link or manual irrigation where you can start manual irrigation if you need to water something down out on site. Um, this site pin is my favorite, right? This takes me to the site map, which has exciting features that I'll show you in just a second. We're going to use that one as the demo. And the last one is alerts. So it's a site summary of all of the alerts that exist on this site. So some quick links to critical management information, and an easy bridge to navigate to whatever you're doing out on site. Bob, before I jump over to the site map, anything to build on that?
I don't think so. I think it's a great explanation. Really, it's ease of use for portfolio level management, and then jumping right down into where you need to go, make your workflows faster, make it easier to navigate around WeatherTRAK Central.
Right. So if you're looking to manage a particular site, you can just hit this button and it takes you to the site map for that site. We see my house and my controller inside, where all my stations and backflows and rain sensors are. They've all got their pins and pictures and notes. So this is the way that we kind of we navigate from site level, or from account level to site level information pretty seamlessly.
Yeah, and all from I think a map-based interface that helps just orient you to where everything's located and where it's going and what you need to do to manage that. And then creating this experience also in the mobile app when you're out in the field and being able to pull up the same map and quickly, understand what's happening at the site and where everything's located is a great time saver.
Absolutely. And anything else on the mapping, Bob? Anything else on the account map that you wanted to cover before we move on to the control?
Not specifically. We're excited about it. We think it looks good, and hopefully it helps, orient you to what you need to be doing.
There's a lot to be excited about this. Let me just say, as a sprinkler nerd, this is also really fun to play with. Like, it's a fun new way to manage the information and to get to where you're looking. It's a lot of fun to use.
Yeah.
So in addition to the account map, we revamped the homepage in a couple other ways. If you remember back in the day, we had two little pie graphs right there on the manage page, which lended itself well to the alerts and operations feel, right? This dashboard feel that we're going for. What we found about those is they're great information, but not very user-friendly in terms of drilling down. So what we've done is replaced those pie graphs with this great same information. In this case, the controller status summary, right? What are my controllers doing right now? And you can see and filter this information and use this information quickly and efficiently. So not only do we see a list of all of the controllers that we're looking at, but we can look at any other list as well. We can filter this by different controller statuses. I can see very quickly which of my controllers are on or off or offline. And if I came here in the middle of the summer heat and I found my controller off and I knew that that was just an accident, we've also added the ability to update those controllers. So you can change your controller status from here if you want it. Anything else about that, Bob?
I think a couple quick things. So if Ben were to select one of the controllers in the list, there you can see now you can clear all, so you can clear alerts, you can update mode, like Ben said. So if Ben clicked on the up button, it'll give you different options. So if you're going through a prioritization process and you want to move your controllers. So if you're winter mode, 20 controllers to winterize, you can do it in 2 button clicks or 3 button clicks, which is really nice. Also, if Ben scrolls up a little bit, from this view, when he selected that one controller, so when he selected just that one controller, the map automatically updated and took him directly to the site where that controller is located. So in the case of the off controller, selected that one controller, and then the map where the controller
Uh-oh, is that me?
So little ease of use kind of feature. So as Ben was mentioning here, did you freeze up? So with those controller modes, what you'll be able to see is all the different statuses, filtered by status, individual statuses, filter by controller to the site where that controller is located, and there. Yep, and then quickly find a folder where you can look through there. And so if you want it number as well, search for either through the and real quick, if you could scroll down, a little slow. Maybe we stop clicking on something. So the alert category, and this will kind of contextualize. It's very similar to what we have today, or previously, and so it'll show you all the alerts that's within the portfolio, and then context about where it's located by an account, the controller itself. There's also a new alert date filter that we implemented. So it's a small feature, but if you want to see alerts that happened before a certain time, you can. Or if you want to filter it by dates that happen after a specific time, you can filter it just by the alert date. So there's a little calendar in that second column on the left. You don't need to click on it, Ben. It's just being a little slow, but so here you can specify, what date parameter you want to search by, and then, earlier or on or after, and so you can create all of those different rules and help understand what the alert statuses are, and just contextualize that for you. And then you can also select the alerts and then clear them from here as well. So nice time savers, hopefully good context, good understanding of what's happening within your portfolio, and then easy ways to navigate through the website to take care of those issues and quickly resolve any problems that you may be experiencing or seeing.
Sorry, my internet is cutting out really bad, so I hope I didn't miss anything. Are we done
Nope.
on the homepage?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's really the full tour. So there's a lot of new stuff, but it's also some stuff that you're already experienced with. You may have already seen if you're a WeatherTRAK user. So we're really excited about it. Love to hear any feedback. So if there's things you like about it, you don't like about it, tell us. That's all good stuff. So really appreciate any feedback or input you can get there. And then Ben, maybe we go to OptiFlow and show them where they can find the master valve or the POC features for delays and
can we do LC Plus first?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I jumped the gun on you.
That's all good. So at my house, I have an LC Plus, and so it is this guy right here. If I collapse all, you see now, I used to have only 2 programs. Now I have 4, and so I have different, to Bob's earlier point, I have 4 different kinds of irrigation going on. I've got perennial gardens, I've got annual gardens, I've got vegetable gardens, and so to have the additional flexibility that 4 programs provides is very nice for me. I definitely felt less stress in getting it all done with 4 programs.
Yeah,
anything
so it's
about that?
Great value add. Yeah, nope. I think we touched on it pretty well before, but yeah, when you log in now, so any of your controllers that were previously confined to 2 programs, that this automatically is updated. It does require the specific firmware version that Ben is on, so 7.13.2, and we've pushed down that firmware automatically over the air to all controllers. So if you have that firmware version and you log in, you'll now be able to program either from the panel or from WeatherTRAK Central or the mobile app this functionality. So programs C and D are now available for all LCs.
And while I'm here, Bob, One of the questions is, can I go off topic for 1 second with the demo for a question?
Yeah.
The question is, can you show us how to upload any old or lost programs? What they're talking about is this configurations tool up at the top of the page, where you can, if you want, you can save configurations, or you can go in and you can have your own setup, right? If you go in and set up a configuration, you can, let me show you what that looks like. Boom. You can save configurations, or you can pull up any date and time, right? You can pull up any way your controller was programmed as of any date and time. And when you pull it up, it will just, you say view date, view settings as of this date, and it will pull up on the program page, and you can verify that it is what you want to see before you hit save and send it down to the controller. So I know that's off topic, but here we go.
Yeah, that was a question from the chat. So hopefully that
question from the chat.
That.
Now let's move to our third point, OptiFlow programming and pump and master valve delays, POC delays, which happen over on the OptiFlow tab and the configure page. Only if you are an OptiFlow user will you see this OptiFlow tab. So you know whether you're an OptiFlow user or not by looking at your WeatherTRAK central toolbar. And what I'm going to show you here is the wrong site basement demo here. This is my own demo OptiFlow controller. And for the new features, we are talking about master valve and pump delays, or managing your POC on an OptiFlow system. So to get there, what we have to do is find the right site on the configure page, and then go to the right main line and click on the gear, and then hit edit main line and find your points of connection, which is way at the bottom. And when you add a point of connection, this is when you start to see these new additions. At the bottom of this point of connection box, where we're adding the points of connection to your main line on OptiFlow, we have these 3 different system-wide delays. Bob, you want to talk detailed about what these are?
Yeah, so the first station delay you can specify for up to 10 minutes, and you can do second level if needed. And so what this will do is it'll activate the POC, whether it's a pump or opening a master valve. And then before the first station opens and runs, it'll delay for this specified amount of time. And so if you have, maybe a large main line and you want to have it fully charged before your stations begin to operate, you could use this feature and make sure you've got good laminar flow and everything's stable. And then the final station delay is keep the last station open for a specified amount of time after its specified program runtime is complete. And so sometimes what we see is issues with the last station seating properly, or the final valve closing and seating properly if there's not sufficient pressure, because we've closed the main line or we've turned off the pump, and then we have trouble seating those valves, and then we end up kind of allowing water just to dribble out or pool out from the main line. And so for customers who have that or experience that, they can specify a delay so we can keep it charged, ensure everything closes properly, and then turn off the pump or close the master valve. So based off of just the hydraulic requirements of a specific site, giving you a little bit more precision with the hydraulic management at the POC level. And then just in another scenario, if you wanted to close the master valve first, and keep the final station open for a specified amount of time, you can also have that option as well.
Okay. And then, so those are the 3 POC delays that we've added. We also added a station-based delay. So we close up our main line and our point of connection information. We come over here to our OptiFlow controllers, find the program that we're talking about, or the controller that we're talking about, and hit the gear, which lets us edit the stations inside this. And you'll see here, when we look at the stations, we've added 2 new fields, 1 station delay minute and 1 station delay second. Bob, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so really the problem that we're looking to solve with this, as I mentioned before, is slow closing valves. And so, um, it could be due to the specific type of valve and it's intentional, the way it's manufactured, or it could be aging and it just takes time for it to close, and it's going to take time for it to close. Sometimes what we observe in the field are, flow alerts related to that, and it kind of becomes noise because it's just because of the slow closing valve. There's not actually hydraulic performance issues. And it can also affect distribution uniformity for that subsequent station that needs to run if it doesn't have sufficient mainline pressure because of this slow closing valve. Moving forward, now with this feature, you could specify a delay to ensure it's all the way closed, and then you can start the next station operation once you have sufficient static pressure in your main line. Then it's running, and then you have laminar flow, and then you've got good distribution uniformity, and you're not getting noisy alerts. So really simple feature, but hopefully, it's a good way to kind of tune up your hydraulic performance and take out some noise from, over alerting due to just slow closing valves.
Bob, I have a question about delays that came in over the chat, and I don't know the answer, so I'm putting you on the spot. Does your station delay timing have to be in line with your mainline break delay timing? I'm curious if it's charging the main line and its timing on the main line will break will trigger a mainline break alert, right? If we have to be careful of how those delays line up.
Yeah, you would want to make sure you have that, you understand the nature of the hydraulic system performance, so what it's going to do, where you have your break thresholds, the timing for those, and then if you implement additional delays and you could see the main line exceed a threshold or mainline break, you just want to be aware of how you're tuning it. And so really with the station delay capabilities, it's kind of like fine tuning of the dial just to get where it needs to be. But yeah, you could, depending on the site and depending on the nature of that hydraulic structure, you could trigger that, or you may need to adjust the mainline break timing, or you may need to adjust the station timing. So it's really kind of specific to what's happening at that site, and just using these precision tools to really fine tune what's happening and what OptiFlow is doing.
Said perfectly. I think that covers it. Like that covers our system-wide thresholds, our station thresholds, or our station delays. Sorry. Anything else you want to talk about on the OptiFlow upgrade before we move on?
No, just really excited about it. We have, an optimized scheduling engine, and we send down the schedules, and now we're optimizing, hydraulic performance. And then with this update, just really fine tuning and getting very precise with how that performs. So I think it's great building on the already, I think, robust value proposition that OptiFlow brings, and then continuing to refine it.
I agree, and it's fun to see releases that have something for everyone, right? I guarantee almost all workflows move through WeatherTRAK Central, and so the homepage upgrade will not go unnoticed. Things like this, where you are in an elite group of users, if you kind of know where we're talking about, this OptiFlow thing is for just a select handful, but it is a testament to our engineering team in their effort for constant improvement, right? We're hearing your feedback. We're trying to deliver the features that our big users need, our small users need. All the different kinds of user groups that we deal with are represented in this release. So I really appreciate all your hard work, Bob. It looks great.
No, thank you. And yeah, a lot of it's built off feedback. So customers reaching out, asking for these features, asking for these enhancements, providing us with insights, problems that they're facing, frustrations that they're having. We capture all of that, and then we go and implement it through, product development cycles, and then deliver new features and functionality. So this was, I think, a great one. I think a great ad, and it's all built off of feedback from market, feedback from customers. So appreciate, your engagement, and appreciate your time.
Absolutely, I'll echo that. And now we are definitely recording the event, and a link will be sent out afterward. I want to give you guys a second. That's kind of all of the release notes that we have, and now is our scheduled time for Q&A. We've taken them as they were coming in. If anybody has anything that they want to ask before we close out, or we can just call it a day.
Yeah, and one quick note to add, Ben. So, in addition to this type of webinar, in addition to the banner, other ways that we help communicate updates to market is on our website. And so we have a product news page in our website where we post content. Yep. So go to WeatherTRAK.
Go to WeatherTRAK. Go to About. Go to Product News.
And then, yep. And so we have content that also outlines what these updates are or were and what we did. And then in that article, so Ben, if you open that up, there are additional links to our knowledge base that then go into further detail about how to use the operational delays, where they are, what changed. And so if there's customers you want to share this out to, or for your own personal edification and learning, you can check our website following a release, and then we'll have all of this detailed out. Here's what we did, here's what we're excited about, here are the problems that we're looking to solve with this.
Okay.
And that's it. So I think no additional questions, but just want to let you guys know that that's there. So you have distributor portal for those of you who are distributor partners, but for any of our designers or maintenance contractors or water managers, our website is a great resource and tool for collecting product information as well as new and upcoming enhancements.
Awesome. Bob, thank you so much. You did a great job. I'm sorry for my internet delays today. Technical difficulties are part of it.
No worries. We'll just edit that out. It's all good.
Okay. But great job keeping up. And thank you for everyone's patience. And thank you for being here. We totally appreciate your support and hope you enjoy the new release. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.